Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something lots of people seem curious about. This idea that the moon's cycles might actually connect with our inner world.
Right. Things like our moods, our intentions, even what we're trying to manifest.
Exactly. And we hear from many of you that you're interested, but maybe looking for a more, structured way to explore that connection.
Yeah, and that's where journaling comes in. Specifically, using a dedicated journal notebook for tracking these moon phases. Think of it as a kind of personal space for this practice.
And we know Listalian journals often come up in this context. They make these, well, really premium notebooks that seem designed with lunar insights in mind.
They do. They have features specifically aimed at supporting this kind of reflection and ritual. So we thought we'd explore the benefits of moon phase journaling today and look at how a dedicated tool like a Listalian can, really help.
Okay, so let's start with the why. Why track the moon in the first place? It sounds maybe a bit mystical to some.
Well, it might seem that way now, but historically it was incredibly common. If you look back, many cultures, like Native American traditions, Celtic practices, they deeply relied on lunar cycles.
For practical stuff, right? Like farming.
Absolutely. Farming, healing practices, spiritual timing, it was all tied to the moon. The core idea is that the moon's influence isn't just the tides out there in the ocean.
It might affect us internally, too.
That's the perspective, that it could influence our emotions, maybe our energy levels, even creative flow.
Interesting. So the sources we looked at suggest that actually tracking this, writing it down in a journal, can help you spot patterns.
Exactly. You might start noticing, oh, I tend to feel more inward or reflective around the new moon, or maybe more energized, even a bit emotional around the full moon.
And how does that connect to things like setting intentions or manifestation?
Well, the idea is that by knowing the sort of energy of a particular phase, like the new moon for beginnings, you can align your intentions more effectively. It's about working with the cycle, not against it.
Okay. And the journal becomes the place to track all this moods, energy, intentions.
Relax, dreams, productivity, that sense of inner balance. It becomes your personal logbook for observing these connections.
Right. But let's be real. Starting another journaling habit can be tough. What are the hurdles people face with moon journaling specifically?
Oh, definitely consistency. It's easy to mean, well, plan to write things down at the new moon or full moon, but then life gets busy and you forget.
Or you write things down, but it's all scattered, maybe in different notebooks or on scraps of paper.
Exactly. It gets disorganized. You lose track of past insights, so it's hard to see those longer-term patterns we were just talking about. Feeling overwhelmed by what to write can also be a thing.
So this is where a dedicated journal like those from Listalian can really make a difference because of the features.
Precisely. Take something seemingly simple, like numbered pages. That alone gives you structure. You can easily reference back, what was I feeling 3 new moons ago?
Okay, I can see that. Organization?
And having a back pocket, super useful for tucking in things like a printed moon phase calendar or maybe little notes, affirmations you've written. Keeps it all together.
Yeah, that makes sense. And some might even have a table of contents section.
Some do, and that adds another level. You could potentially track themes over time. Maybe you note peak creativity or time for rest and find those entries quickly. It turns it from just random entries into a usable record.
Okay, so we have the journal. We're tracking the phases.
Yeah.
How do we actively use this with intentions? What are the different energies?
Right. So each main phase is thought to have its own flavor. The new moon, that's like a blank slate, perfect for setting new goals, planting seeds for what you want to grow. It's about fresh starts.
Makes sense. New beginnings.
Then, as the moon appears to grow bigger, the waxing moon phase, the energy is seen as building. It's about growth, motivation, taking action on those intentions you set. Expansion.
Got it. Building up towards.
The full moon. Peak energy. This is often seen as a time for manifestation, bringing things to light, culmination. But it's also, importantly, a time for acknowledging what's working and maybe what needs to be released.
Release. Okay.
Yeah, releasing negativity, letting go of what's no longer serving you. And that leads into the waning moon as the light decreases. This phase is more about reflection, integration, inner work, processing what came up during the full moon.
So the journal helps you consciously work with these phases.
Exactly. You might use the new moon pages to write down clear affirmations or goals. Then, maybe during the full moon, you reflect on progress, celebrate wins, or write about what you're ready to let go of.
And the waning moon for deeper reflection on feelings.
Precisely. It provides that dedicated space. And, the feel of the journal matters too. Stallion uses that really smooth, thick 120 GSM paper.
Why is that important?
Well, it just makes the act of writing more pleasant, more mindful. It's not just jotting notes on flimsy paper. It feels more like a ritual, encouraging you to slow down and connect more deeply with your thoughts. It enhances the whole experience.
That makes sense. It elevates it.
Mhm.
So let's recap some of those Listallion features that are especially good for this. Numbered pages.
Yep, numbered pages for organization. The sheer number of pages, too, like 211, gives you lots of space over many cycles.
So you don't run out quickly.
Right. The smooth, thick paper we just mentioned for that quality writing experience.
The soft faux leather cover
Yeah,
adds to that tactile, ritualistic feel too, doesn't it?
it really does. It engages the senses. And some even have those subtle dashed lines instead of solid lines.
Oh, yeah. How does that help?
It's just a bit less visually intrusive, maybe, but still guides your writing, helps keep things neat so your record is clear and easy to read back later. It's these thoughtful details that support the practice.
This actually reminds me of my cousin, Emily. She was feeling really disconnected, kind of swept up in the day-to-day chaos.
Uh-huh. Lots of people feel that way.
Totally. She was always drawn to the moon, but felt a bit silly trying to, do anything with it. She got a Listallion journal. I started simple, just noting her general mood and main focus around the new and full moons.
Okay.
And after just a few months, she started seeing it. She'd look back at her notes, thanks to those numbered pages, and realize, wow, almost every full moon, she felt this surge of creative energy, but also felt easily irritated. Or, around the new moon, she consistently felt quieter, more introspective.
Ah, so the journal helped her map her own cycle against the moon's.
Exactly. It wasn't about the moon making her feel that way necessarily, but seeing the correlation gave her this amazing self-awareness she didn't have before. It helped her anticipate and navigate her own feelings better.
That's a fantastic example. It really highlights how it's a tool for self-discovery. And I have a similar story about a friend, Mark. He was really struggling with sticking to goals. Good intentions, but follow-through was tough.
I think we can all relate to that.
Right. So he started using a Listallion, specifically focusing on the new moon energy for goal setting. He'd write his main goal for that cycle really clearly. Then, during the waxing phase, he'd use the journal almost daily to jot down one small step he took towards it.
So, breaking it down?
Yeah, and using the journal as an accountability partner almost. He said checking in with it, seeing his progress documented alongside the moon's growing phase, gave him this unexpected momentum.
Did it work?
It really did. He finally finished a project he'd been putting off for ages. He described it as feeling like he was finally in sync with a rhythm instead of fighting against himself all the time. The structure helped him channel that waxing moon energy.
Wow. Okay. Those stories really show the practical side.
Yeah.
So for listeners wanting to try this, what are some key practices? How can they use a journal like Listallion effectively?
Well, first off, consistency is helpful, but don't beat yourself up if you miss an entry. Aim to check in around the key phases. New moon, first quarter, full moon, last quarter.
Okay, the main turning points.
Yes. And really use that new moon for clarity. What do you want to begin? Write it down. Use the full moon, not just for acknowledging what's manifested, but also what you're releasing. Be specific.
And pay attention to feelings throughout.
Definitely. Note emotional shifts, energy levels, even interesting dreams. The journal is perfect for that. If you do any little rituals like meditation or visualization, jot those down too.
And those Listallion features, like the numbered pages, really support looking back over time, right? Seeing the journey unfold.
Absolutely. You can track intentions from months ago. You can see if those full moon emotional surges have a pattern. The journal becomes this rich personal data set over time.
So it's really about connecting the dots between the outer cycle and your inner experience.
Precisely. It's using the moon's rhythm as a mirror, a guide for self-understanding. It can lead to better insight into your emotional cycles, maybe help you make decisions aligned with your energy, and deepen whatever spiritual or creative path you're on.
It transforms the journal from just a notebook into a tool for inner work, really.
Yes, a tool that helps connect the cosmic and the personal, supporting your growth in harmony with these natural cycles.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it seems tracking moon phases with a journal isn't just stargazing, it's really about deeper self-gazing, wouldn't you say?
I think that's a great way to put it. It's a practical method for gaining self-understanding, seeing your own patterns more clearly.
And having that dedicated space, that structured journal designed for moon phases, is key for recording insights, setting those powerful intentions, and reflecting on your journey.
Absolutely. And using a quality journal like a Stallion with its lovely paper, numbered pages, that handy pocket, it just makes the whole process more effective, more enjoyable. It supports the practice.
So, maybe a final thought for you listening. How might tuning into a natural rhythm, like the moon's cycle, give you a new lens, a different perspective on your own life's flow and your well-being?
It's definitely something worth exploring. You might be surprised what you discover.